Welcome to our World News Update for June 9th, 2023. I've had several requests for doing these World News Updates more often. However, please know there will always be something going on in the world. Always. And while I believe it's good to keep up on things from time to time and be reminded of looking at them from a biblical worldview, we need to use caution at the same time. As I've noted multiple times before, world situations can heat up to a frenzy and then suddenly die right back down. And while I confess that doesn't seem to be the case on multiple headlines today, we still need to use caution moving forward. So, when reviewing these headlines today, let's make sure to not let ourselves get distracted from the ultimate task Yahweh's given each of us in being a light to the world around us. That being said, let's look at a few things going on around the world today. While everyone knows the Euphrates River has been drying up and continues to make low-level records every passing month, what many don't know is how the desert in Saudi Arabia is coming to life. As seen here from Statista.com, the average rainfall in Saudi Arabia from 2008 to 2019 was on a steady climb. And it's evident that increase has continued since 2019. How can I say that? These pictures you see here were just taken 2 months ago in Saudi Arabia by a friend of mine. None of the vegetation you see in these pictures existed in those locations in 2019. And 2019 was the last year noted on the given rainfall stats. Thus, rainfall is steadily on the increase in Saudi Arabia. Even with this steady increase over the last 15 years, it peaked again this last January as reported by Zaya.com. The report said, the National Center of Meteorology's announcement came while revealing a climate report for rains and temperatures in January of 2023, noting that most of the stations in the kingdom had recorded rainfall higher than the normal. The rainfall quantity in Al-Kazim Station during last January amounted to 122.7 millimeters, highest in its history, compared to the period of 1991 to 2020. So, the land that has the true Mount Sinai, where Yahweh brought his people when coming out of Egypt, is coming to life. In other news, in recent weeks, we've seen multiple reports that warn how the United States electrical grid is at risk. Risk of physical sabotage, risk of electronic sabotage. And these warnings have been given from high-level government agencies. So, what are we to do with these warnings? Just keep living life as que sera and just hope for the best? Have you even pondered what would happen if the U.S. grid does go down? How long would it stay down? What would be the effects around us? This isn't a topic people like to dwell on. However, I believe it's one we need to seriously consider. You see, it won't just be your power and internet going off to your house. The result of the power grid going down will include no functioning cell towers, no public water service once the water towers are empty, and no functioning gas stations. The list could go on, but imagine just these 3 things alone being taken out all at once. Now, if it was just for a couple of hours, no worries. But make it a couple of days, a couple of weeks, or even a couple of months. What then? Now, I'm not one to promote movies. However, if you ever get the chance, you may want to consider the movie Dragon Day. Now, it's an extremely low-budget film. Seriously, very low budget. In fact, it only got a rating of 3.9 out of 10. And it's obviously just one person's view of how things could play out. But it does make you think and may give a small glimpse of the chaos that could come from such an event. On the topic of electronic sabotage, there's still a growing concern for many in the ongoing advancement in AI technology. Whatever you do, don't think it's going away. It's not going away. AI is here to stay. In fact, one could look at the AI situation in light of Pandora's box being opened. While many are excited about the opportunities and possibilities AI can bring, there's an ever-growing uncertainty at the pace AI is improving. We must remember, as long as it's connected to the internet, it's learning from all over the world at the same time. It's updating as it's always learning on a collective scale, globally, every minute. And this has many scholars asking, where will it end? Shifting gears a little here. Overnight, reports have come out how the banking system in Russia was hacked. HalTurnerRadioShow.com reports, the entire Russian banking system is at a standstill nationwide because the ISP used for banking communication with the Russian central bank is down. Infotel, the ISP, is suspected to have been hacked by a pro-Ukraine group. Infotel runs the automated system of electronic interaction for the Central Bank of Russia. Very long lines have already formed outside cash machines this morning, similar to the one seen in February 2022, when Russia's special military operation began and sanctions were applied. People ran to ATMs to grab cash. While many are concerned of an immediate like-kind retaliatory attack from Russia towards Europe and the U.S., I personally don't see that happening right away, if they were to do so. However, I also don't see Russia standing back and letting it go either. The war in Ukraine continues. In fact, just this week, a dam was destroyed that now threatens a nuclear plant. So, things aren't slowing down in this war. In fact, this coming week will begin the largest military aerial exercise by NATO where literally hundreds of fighter jets will participate. The exercise has been named Air Defender 23. It begins June 12th and continues through June 24th. Everyone knows this is NATO flexing at the doorstep of Russia. What could possibly go wrong? The list of potential things happening in the world hasn't shortened. Iran continues to strengthen its grip in the Middle East. Israel continues to threaten more retaliation while still dealing with its own internal struggles. UFOs continue to be a headline with the Pentagon, and there's talk that it won't be long before the central bank digital currency is put into its beginning phases for the U.S. Bottom line, there's a lot going on. We need to keep our hearts and eyes open as time continues to unfold before us and be ready should a need arise. As always, we don't know the future, but we know the one who does. So let's make it a point to pray as we walk through our everyday routines. Make more time to read. Make it a point to invest more time into your relationship with our Heavenly Father like never before. That way, regardless of what lies ahead, we know we're in good company. Keep your hearts humble in Him as we all learn and grow together in His Word. Blessings and shalom.